What was a moment that you thought breaking into comics that you thought you weren't going to make it? Like, what was a really tough moment for you where you didn't know if your future was going to be in comics or in artwork or something like that? Was there a moment where you were like, maybe this isn't for me?
Well, in 97, 97, 98, things sort of petered out. And for some reason, I had this system, right? Like I had all these editors. This is way back when you had to phone people.
Mm-hmm.
I had all these editors. I had a calendar. I would call an editor and say, do you need anything? Blah, blah, blah. And she'd say, no, check back in 2 weeks. The next guy would say, no, check back in 2 days. And I'd like write it down, and I'd be like constant. Part of your job as
A freelancer.
a freelancer is making sure you keep your schedule full. And I hit a freaking wall where there was just nothing, right? Nothing. And out of the blue, my friend Ben Herrera calls me up, and he's been working at this video game company, Ion Storm, in Dallas. And he's like, Mike, I just showed your some of your artwork to my art director, and he wants to hire you. And I'm like, well, that seems like what I'm supposed to do, right? My wife did not want to move to Texas. I didn't want to move to Texas, but I was like, you know what? God's closing all these doors, and this one is wide open. I really think this is
the one I'm
we're
supposed
to be doing.
Yeah.
And so we ended up moving there. We only stayed there for about a year and a half in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on the first Deus Ex game.
What's Deus Ex?
Deus Ex. It was a RPG sort of a video game from Ion Storm.
Okay.
Austin. It was actually kind of a groundbreaking game. It was the first game, I think, where you could, because before, remember, you used to be able to walk into a room and you could tell that book was different from everything else, because it's the only thing in the room you can interface with.
Of course.
Well, Deus Ex was like
Everything.
Warren Spector wanted you to be able to interact with everything in the space.
Oh wow.
And so it was sort of the first game that did that. And so I was the original concept artist on that. But it didn't last long. But there were greater purposes to us living there.
Yeah.
So
that's always the part of the journey, is you never know what you're going to pick up along the way and what's going to ultimately kind of lead to your growth.